I've known John for like years, since probably 2006, I think, and he called me to let me know, and I knew Kenny, friend of ours, Kenny Tudrick, and he was originally gonna, he was trying to get him to do it, but Kenny didn't want to do it, and I happened to be doing a session at Kenny's house, hanging out for a day, and John was there recording it, and the funny thing was his whole he was calling the guy down in Nashville. He's got this old board that he uses to record, and so he was having problems, so we really didn't record anything. They were just hanging out having fun, and Kenny was like, hey, you want to do this, because I'm now 2.5 hours away, so if you do it, it's closer for you. And then I was like, sure. Well, I was helping some guys playing in a band in Monroe, Michigan. I do this thing and I agree to do it, and I do this first hang and everything's cool. And I get done and I realized the band I was playing with in Monroe was just, they did something, we had a gig booked and they didn't have the sound guy quit, and so the leader canceled the gig because he didn't have a sound guy, and I'm like, we could have done the gig without a sound guy. So I called to leave a message saying I'm done with that band because it wasn't going anywhere at the time, and I accidentally texted John instead of the guy for the band saying I wasn't going to do it, and he was like, what the hell is going on? And then I had to text him back the next morning and say, I'm sorry, that was meant for someone else. And I'll do anything for music, right? So we started playing, and John Hern, it just was like a natural, he's just a great human, as I would say. And so we just formed this bond that was cool, and he likes Zeppelin, and that's the reason I play music, is John Bonham. So it just happened to be a natural fit, and I love it, and it's great. So it worked out great, and it's been going on ever since. Scheduling, probably, just to try to make sure that we can get enough doing it, but also because I drive an hour and a half to get up here. My ADHD kicks in, and I accept, all right, let's rehearse this day, and then 2 weeks later I realize oh, I can't, I got open house for my daughter, so that I have to cancel at the last minute. So that's the biggest challenge, is because I'm not close. Well, I was 5 years old in '75, and I got the album. My brother bought the album Physical Graffiti by Zeppelin. It just came out, and we heard Kashmir on the radio station that was playing Kashmir daily, multiple times a day, right? I remember at 5 years old going all right. We went through 2 copies of the album in 1 year, and I remember looking at who's on there, and I see that the drummer was John Bonham, and I'm like, all right, well, I like this, and I didn't even know I was going to be a drummer at that point. I just knew I liked the heavy drums, and I liked that, and I was like, all right, well, what am I going to do? I'm going to get another Zeppelin album. So I'm now 6, and I'm thinking, well, what album should I get? I'm going to the record store, and I see the big poster of the blimp the Hindenburg exploding on the first album. I had no idea. Even at that moment, I probably had no idea what I was listening to, because it's a blues album more than anything, right? And I'm 6 years old. But that left such a mark on me. And then when I started getting into jazz, and my biggest influence in jazz is Elvin Jones, and I realized everything John Bonham was doing, in Moby Dick on Zeppelin 2, Elvin Jones was doing in '65. So I knew that John Bonham was influenced heavily by guys like that, with the whole triplet thing and the whole feel. And then my mom, for that matter, because she sang, and she played trombone in high school, but she sang, and she just was she was the one that told me, yeah, you can do it, And I went down that rabbit hole, and music, I learned to play music because my mom realized when I was about 7 that I was really liking music, and I was really liking drums because I was banging on everything, right? Pots and pans, banging on everything. She was like, all right, we'll get you a drum set. And at that time, the Muppets were huge at this point, right? So I get a Gonzo toy drum set, right? Which lasted it might have made half a year before it was completely destroyed. And at that point, she's like, all right, we'll get you a drum set and you'll take lessons. And it was a knockoff Japanese kit. Blue Sparkle. It was supposed to look like a Singerland from the 60s, but it was like a knockoff. I was 2-3 years into that thing. I was duct taping the floor tom to a chair so I could hold it up, and stuff was breaking left and right. And at that point, I think she realized, all right, you're putting in all this work just to keep this stuff going to do it, so we'll get you a nice kit. They got me something decent. There's so many. Zeppelin, obviously, because I play music because of Led Zeppelin. John Bonham. But Miles Davis, John Coltrane, Elvin Jones, Yes, Genesis, Blues, you know, Muddy Waters, all those guys, everybody. I mean, it's just, I take influence. There isn't a music style. I mean, I love hip hop. I love pop music. You know, there's nothing. To me, I take the old Louis Armstrong additive. There's two types of music. There's good music and there's bad music. Good music makes you want to dance and move your feet. Bad music makes you want to move your feet and go right out of the room and leave. If it's good and I like it, doesn't matter who it is and what style it is, I'll dig it. See, that's the thing. People ask me all the time, what would you do? Do you want to make it? And to me, making it would be, if I made it, it would be me just showing up, doing the sound check, leaving, coming back, playing the gig and leaving, not tearing my drums down, not setting my drums up. Money at that point wouldn't matter. If I, like when I do shows where there's a back line and bands I played in will go like, you're not going to use your drum set? That's like, because if you're a guitar player, you use your guitar. You don't trust, you're comfortable with your instrument. And I'm like, yeah, I don't care. I'd rather not. I'd rather just show up and play, you know, and use what they have. Because I can make a garbage can sound great. So to me, the most important thing is just playing, getting out and playing. I love doing the couple videos we shot with the band situation, and I just enjoy playing. The true artist is going to do it whether they make it or not. You're going to do it because you're fueled by just the need to create. And that's what I'm fueled by. So whether I make it or not doesn't matter. At some point, stuff that I've recorded over the years, at some point someone's going to hear it and dig it, you know? So I don't do it because I think I'm gonna, and maybe when I was in high school, I'm like, yeah, let's write a song like this because the people will love a song like this and they'll dance to it. That's not gonna sell. You do what comes from the heart, and you do it because you want to do it. And at some point, every good artist will be seen or heard if it's good at some point.